Welcome back, gamers. In this video, we're going to walk you through the entire perk system for every single legend. We're going to go over their level 2, their level 3, and then tell you which one you should choose for each legend. And just so you know, below we'll have chapters set up for the Assault, Skirmisher, Recon, Support, and Controller legend if you want to skip to the specific. And lastly, these videos take a ton of time in production, so any like, comment, or share means so much to me. I greatly appreciate you watching this video, and I love any feedback I hear from you guys in the community, so drop them below. Let's get into it. All right, the first one we have up is going to be Bangalore. So first, level 2 perks, getting your blue shield will be either see ordnance through walls and death boxes, or the ultimate cooldown is reduced by 60%. Typically always going to take the minus 60 seconds on the ult cooldown, just because you have either taken a fight, could be looking to be third partied, and or you're taking this into a new fight. So I think this is one of the pretty easy one. I don't know at what point you would want to see ordnances through the walls, but it's a potential. But I think right now, early off, I'm going to go with the ultimate cooldown. Again, I think your level 3 will really be situational. I can see auto ping enemies triggering passive being very good. It does ping them. While I also can see, healing through smoke is a pretty big deal. Your end game and you think you need to get some cover. I think it's a pretty good. I mean, it's pretty strong. It's going to heal you all the way up to 25% away from your maximum HP. You're never going to get full in this thing. Again, did a little bit of testing, and so it doesn't really matter how much you have, how far you are away, but you're only going to get up to 25% away from your maximum health. Again, I think it's situational. I think this one is potentially probably going to be one of the best ones for endgame viability. Next up, we have Fuse. This one I would see probably seeing ordnance through the walls and death boxes is probably pretty strong, making sure that you do have the ability to keep yourself fully loaded on grenades. Again, I think the scar tissue ignores slow and 50% damage from the mother load can also be pretty strong as well. So I could see this one being picked either way. I guess it just really depends on whether you want to spend more time looting, looking, or just find them instantly. But again, either one are probably pretty strong to go with. Next up, we have his purple. So level 3, I think you're going to go knuckle cluster probably every single time. The amount of speed increase you get from this thing is astounding. This is way better than bangs. I don't think there's a chance that you ever use the minus 25% explosive damage, probably, just because of how strong this really is. This is a given in my opinion. I mean, if they're staying in this, you've got this boost almost the entire time. Next up, we have Ashe. We have Murder Machine, and we have 1 minute to live. Murder Machine calls out nearby squads after a squad wipe, and the 1 minute to live is passive reels for 60 seconds. This one I've not really tested as much yet. I'm not a huge Ashe main, but I do think calling out nearby squads is probably much beneficial. So again, I think it's going to be situational. This one will probably need a little bit more testing, but I think this is probably your pick on your level 2 for Ashe. Next up, you have Ashe's level 3. You have Greedy Snare, which snares multiple enemies. Lifetime is tripled in the +1 tack. These are both strong in my opinion. I need to test this a little bit more, but I think having the double snare is probably much better. Again, we'll have to wait and see, but as you can see, both of these two are both snared right next to each other. My thing seems to have gone over a little bit further. But I think it's pretty strong overall. I could see, again, a reason that you would want the double snare. I have been testing this. Again, we will get to Mad Maggie, but I've been testing the double tack. So let's just take a look and see how this feels. Again, for those of you that are big Ashe mains, I think if you are very strategic and looking to isolate 2 team members from an opposing team, I think it's not a bad idea. You basically could snare this one, come over and snare this one over here. And then you have an opportunity really to isolate this fight. This person's not moving. This one might be, but again, you are taking reduced amount of time in this snare. So again, I think it's situational, but I think you could pull this off as a pretty strong pick. Next up, we have Mad Maggie. And Mad Maggie has been a legend that I have been practicing and playing with in rank so far. So again, I'm just going to give you what I think the best ones are, but they are, again, all of them are situational. I'm not a huge shotgun player, although I'm mouse and keyboard, but if you are a shotgun player, this auto reload on Nox is great. I so far have been running Fireball just because of the amount of pure damage it instills on people and blowing up, and it continues rolling. The ball has been a whole lot better. It can break doors and continue pushing now. So far I have been testing that one and think that one is probably going to be the best. But again, in a world where you're using shotguns a lot, maybe you're playing with a Gibby, I could see the Nox auto reload being much better. Next up, we have Mad Maggie's level 3, the Drill Slinger. You get +1 tack charge minus 25% active duration, or you get the big drill, which is 50% depth and wide. So far, I've been mostly going with Drill Slinger just for the simple fact that you can basically isolate 2 people. With an example here, you're able to basically drill in 2 spots. If this guy moves to another spot further over, I just drill a second time. The damage on this thing is insane right now. I have seen this being like very, very strong end game for people that are camping in buildings or people that are just simply not wanting to fight. This allows you to really make sure that they have to get out in the open. I can see where you may want to use it situationally on certain maps. Again, that's a pretty big distance they're behind here, so it's still great. Again, I would mess around a little bit more. I think there's play for it, but you'll have to do your best example there. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this guy. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I think seeing what's in the care package, real most valuable item, may be good. Seeing relevant ammo types and death boxes may be worth it as well. This one's probably situational and something you'll just need to test. I don't know if either one of these are, in my opinion, very strong. So take it with a grain of salt. Don't think this is going to make or break how you play the rest of the game. Again, it may just be situational on what you think is most beneficial for you, but I don't think either one of them make a huge difference in whether you win or lose a fight. Again, I'm just giving you my honest opinion, and I don't play Ballistic that much. I do think the lasting bullet, which is the smart bullet lifetime being tripled, is probably better, being that it's tripled and longer. However, I just don't think overall that it's just, again, I don't think it's much. Don't think it's that much for you. Again, you may know better than I do, but not a huge Ballistic fan. So I would be curious in the comments, for those of you that are Ballistic mains, let me know which one of these perks do you think is the strongest. Again, I do want to get in games and play with them. I'm just not quite sure if either one of these is that strong overall. Again, this thing is lasting longer, but is it that big of a deal? Let me know in the comments below. Next up, we have our boy Pathfinder. First one, gain access to survey beacons, and then 2 is gain access to ring console. So again, situational. Going to be potentially where you land, what you're near, that may be most beneficial to you. Again, not entirely game breaking. His level 3 is, which we're going to get into, but this one, situational. If you're near a ring console, maybe you pick that. If you're near a survey beacon, maybe you pick that. Pull up the map, see where your rotation looks, and pick it based off of that. This one is going to be very easy for most people. It's always going to be down and away. This means that when you knock someone, you are refreshing your tactical on the grapple. Next up, we have Wraith. So this one, level 2, again, it's going to be situational, but you're either going to get minus 5 seconds on your tack cooldown, or 6 cents, which is a passive warrants when squads approach. So again, this is similar to, people looking at Wraith. So this one, again, is going to be situational. I'm probably most of the time going to go with the tack cooldown, because I think that benefits her playstyle a whole lot better. This one, again, is going to be situational depending on what type of player you are, or if you're more of want to win the type of game and you use her ult a lot more to get in better positioning, you may want to run with the ult cooldown. However, the tack wind up being minus 20% is pretty much phenomenal, meaning you're getting shot and you want to get in this thing quicker, boom, you're in it much quicker. So again, I think it's situational. It's going to matter on which type of player you are, but I think both are very strong. It's just going to decide on what type of player you are and which perk you choose. Again, another one. I do like that most of these perks can be very situational and you have options to choose on your playstyle. This is, again, one that I'm not quite sure. I don't think the stim damage being 25% off is that strong. I think maybe taking less damage from explosives may be better. So again, this is going to be kind of your playstyle. If you think that you don't heal enough while using stim, maybe you go with that. Maybe you're constantly stimming. Maybe that's better for you. But I could see a time where both of these are very useful. So again, pick what is best for you. Octane's level 3. This one's fun. Octane may be one of the more enjoyable ones, I think, as far as perks are, because I think both are really strong here. I don't know if I necessarily will ever pick one the same time every time. Maybe if I feel like I'm at a point where I need to get closer in, maybe I'm always going mad hops, but I think they're both great. So the cool thing about his ultimate, again, you now have 2 pads, and so you basically can throw one pad off of the other, and you're able to basically get double the distance. Again, pretty similar to other legends, you have the tack cooldown reduction, or you have murder machine. Again, I'm probably taking the tack cooldown all the time. I think for Rev's second, you're probably going to always take the Grim Leaper. Again, it's attack refresh on a knock. So again, another item that if you're very aggressive with Rev, you have the opportunity to be able to get in, get a kill, get this refresh, and get back out. So next up, we have Horizon, who I think has been treated very unfairly for the past couple seasons. I'm just going to say it. Again, not great perk systems for level 2. See battery count on death boxes. Maybe that's good. Again, seeing grenades to the walls if you want to make sure you have enough for your ultimate. Again, pretty situational. Don't know if it's going to matter that much. I don't prefer looting as much as maybe other people do, so I'm probably always taking the battery collection because, again, I don't really care about where the nades are on the map. And again, she didn't get much love on the level 3 as well. You can either take -5 seconds on your tactical or -30 seconds on your ult cooldown. Her ult does take a while to come up. I'm more than likely probably going to take the cooldown. To be honest with you, you don't get any type of aim assist while in her queue anymore. It's not great, so more than likely every time you take that thing, you're just getting fried anyways. You're really usually just taking it to get height or to get your ult off. So 9 times out of 10, I'm just probably taking the ultimate cooldown just because I think it's going to benefit versus the tactical, which is not going to give you much. Next up, we have Valkyrie. Again, this one I think is pretty interesting. I think I'll need to probably play with her more. 15% higher launch with ult is pretty strong. That means that you're a little bit better than a jump tower now, or you can have the improved jetpack handling, which does feel pretty good and smooth overall. This one's pretty interesting. Again, I think it depends if you like to use the jetpack a lot more. Again, I think it's something that's hard to not get fried in sometimes, but I think the full coverage may benefit you mid to late game if you have people that are kind of hiding. I think it's obviously the spread's a little bit better, I would say. I mean, that's a whole lot more, so you're able to hit maybe all 3 of them at this point. So situational again, but I think her Q just seems a little better overall now. Again, let me know in the comments below, which one are you currently taking? Don't play a whole lot of Valk myself. Let me know which one of you mains out there, which one you like the most. Bloodhound, I can guarantee you, you're taking the 25% alt charge White Ravens. This is basically his old tactical from last season. They just built in the perk system. So again, a legend that kind of got the shaft a little bit on this part. So you're still going to take this when you get it, which means that when you scan a Raven, your alt is reduced by 25%. So there it is. It's good. You're going to take it every time. This one, again, I think is going to be pretty situational depending on what player type you are. I am of a Bloodhound. I really like to swap angles, do whatever I can to get it knocks. So having the 25% HP on a knock is pretty strong, but really, I do like the double duration of the attack full body scan, which is more of what we'd had before his nerf. So again, this one's situational as far as what type of player you are. They're both pretty strong, but I 9 times out of 10 am taking Odin's Glare. So here's what a scan looks like now. Next up, we have Crypto. Again, I'm not a huge Crypto fan, so roast me in the comments below. I'm pretty sure you're going to take the 10-second tack cooldown, but again, you Crypto mains tell me, but I think they're both pretty strong, but I think you're going to want to take the tack cooldown. This one I have seen. I do see a lot of people taking the network expansion, which is the plus 25% passive and alt range. Again, I think the network traffic is pretty strong, but I've seen more people using network expansion. Again, a legend I don't know a whole lot about, so I would be curious in the comments. Let me know which one is probably the best or which one you've been testing that you think's the best, but I'm going to guess that most people are taking network expansion. Oh, buddy Seer. He had a very large pick rate due to the gifting, so I'm not quite sure if people really like this guy or what, but I think you're moving back to the 25-meter passive tack range. I think it's pretty strong. I think you're probably moving back to that for sure. As far as Seer's ultimate, I think you're going to probably be taking the Artist Reach, which is the 20mm alt throw range. You can throw this thing a whole lot further. Again, this is if you're trying to get to a fight and you want to cover the distance a lot quicker. I think you're probably going to use this overall. I could be wrong, but I mean, we're back to a huge radius here. I don't think Seer is probably going to be played as much as he was during his prime, but I think you will see more play style with him now because, again, he seems a lot more beneficial. Oh, listen, we're back. Listen, I love Vantage. I'm going to tell you I love Vantage. I don't know if this will make her strong just because the meta is going to be a lot faster, but I think right here, you're taking the ultimate reload every single time. You're going to be keeping your ultimate full almost all the time with this thing. So I've messed with this in the firing range. The bat bounce does not seem good. Again, I think the perk system will help allow them to make changes quicker and better. I think they need to revamp this entirely. It's too clunky. It's too slow. So our big boy Gibby. Yeah, I think this one's pretty strong as far as I'm concerned. Is reviving allies with 50 HP is probably always going to be picked. Again, if you're a shotgun player, you may want it, but reviving allies to get dropped in the bubble, which is already quicker with 50 HP, is going to be almost picked every single time for me. Gibby's ultimate, it's going to be, again, it's going to be situational, but I think the smaller tack, faster cooldown is strong, but the bubble on the 4-second tack is probably pretty strong too. So I don't know, it's up to you what you like. I think the smaller one being quicker is better. Again, I don't know if there's one that's better than the other. Again, pretty situational. Don't think either one of them are too exceptional. Hopefully they will tweak Gibby a little bit more. I just don't see people picking Gibby over the current legends as it is. Lifeline, which is phenomenal seeing her back. Again, I like the rapid revive. I think it's better. Attack cooldown, probably, again, could be situational depending on where you're playing, but I think most of the time you're going to want that quicker revive. This one is very interesting. I could see people picking one or the other, but I think most of what I've seen so far in ranked right now is, of course, gift wrap, which is the next alt is supply drop, so you're getting a red weapon. Again, maybe if you're playing standoffish, you're sniping, you want to be, you know, maybe the revive is good, but I just think the gift wrap is just too strong right now, you know, allowing you to bring yourself down a red weapon. If you've been watching this channel long enough, you know that the legend I despise the most is going to be Mirage, and it seems like he got the healthiest of all buffs. I think all the time you're going more me, +1 alt decoy, 30-second cooldown. That's an easy one. That's just as easy. He still is terrible, but that's easy. Even more of a reason why I don't like Mirage is you're going bamboozle bonus every time because it's annoying, and it's annoying to everybody around you. You're going to use the bamboozle every single time. Yeah, they didn't really show no love to Loba here. I don't really think either one of these are that exceptional. I'm just going to assume you want the 25% more alt range. I don't think the attack height and range is, we already know it's so finicky, so I think you're just taking the alt range and hoping you get a better 2 shield cells. One more battery. Either or is fine. Attack being great, the bracelet, so I think you're probably going to take 3 items for the market. I think that they can do more for Loba, and I'm hoping they do more for Loba, but right now I just don't think this one, either one of them is that strong. Again, maybe you're in a bad place with items that you need a 3rd item. Regardless, I don't think this is that game breaking whatsoever. So, my boy, we've got Newcastle. They're all strong. Again, situational, but I like the speed on the mobile shield way better. This thing is typically so slow. It's now much fast. This thing is phenomenal. You're taking the mobile shield every time. You're going to use this to gain better position on the enemy. You're taking it every time. That's easy. This one's very interesting. I think there's a time that you could think stronghold would be good, maybe end game, maybe outside positioning. You don't have a lot of terrain around your side, but I think most of the time you're going to take the miracle worker, which will revive your allies with HP regen. I've not tested it yet. I'm assuming it's going to be relatively slow, but I think you're probably going to always want that just because you have the ability to drag a down teammate. So I think you're taking it every. Conduit's level 2 perks not great. 10% alt jammer damage radius is okay, or again you can get the battery collection, but again, one, I don't think they put a lot of time into a couple of these legends that maybe they think are already strong, so they could go back and tweak these, but neither one of these are that great. Again, if you think you're going to need more batteries, or you find yourself always out of heals, maybe you take that, but nothing game breaking here. We're going with bigger jam though. Again, this one's pretty interesting. You get +1 tack charge, half shield regen, so you can heal both of your teammates, or you get a 10-meter tack range. I think you're probably, depending on, you know, what type of team you're playing with, if you're playing with a Rev, or you're not playing with super aggressive legends, you just go with the radiant transfer. But if you're playing with people that are aggressive and you are very good at your awareness, you're probably getting the double attack charge, and that way you can heal both of your teammates. Now on to the control legends. Both of these for Caustic are phenomenal. You have a 75% tack throw range or 50% gas area. They're both great. I mean, you can heave this thing now. Look at this. I mean, that's crazy. His ult is going to be, again, depending on your playstyle. If you if you want to be more aggressive, I think the Nox Vision, being longer in his gas is better. Or just like Bangalore, you have the ability to heal inside of your gas. So either one of them's probably best pick for you. Wattson's is very interesting. I would like to see what the gameplay looks like a couple weeks from now. If it slows down, the playstyle slows down a little bit. But I think reviving allies with 50 HP is great. But I do like the fact that if your pylon intercepts something, you spawn arc stars is pretty strong. And I think for the ultimate, you're probably going to always take the split circuit. This allows you to have both of them up. It's pretty strong. I don't see there being any reason why you wouldn't want both of them. So I'm going to tell you that's what you'll take. Again, you Wattson mains, you guys are all unique. You probably know exactly what's better. Let me know in the comments as well, because I don't play a whole lot of Wattson, but I think having 2 of these up, you can anchor them on 2 different entries in a building. This one, again, Rampart is not great. I think 30% on the cooldown is probably better. You want Sheila quicker. I think the extra ammo per stack is just making it like Bangalore. Don't think it's great. For perk 3, I think you're going with ramped up, improved Sheila handling and spin up time. It looks good. It feels a little better. I don't want to, tell you it's phenomenal, but it's pretty strong. Last up for the controllers, we have Catalyst. I think, you take the sister spikes, one max active spike, so you get 3 again versus 2. I don't think throwing it is that beneficial, throwing it far. Maybe it's situational, but I think you're mainly always going to take the extra spike here. This one I don't think is really even remotely debatable. I don't know if, I think her ult is already long enough, but I think having the ult length is phenomenal. And if you don't believe me, check this puppy out. I mean, yeah, I think you're taking this every single time.